I'm gonna start a little blog on what I'm learning on my class of weaving, my weaving class. I have started a weaving class, and yesterday we have the introductory class where we have an archaeologist from the museum to talk to us about La Huaca Melena. Huaca means it's a burial place. Usually it looks like a little mount or little mountain that they built, and where they bury the ancient Peruvians used to bury their death. And so we had a nice introduction with the director of the museum and this archaeologist that talked to us about this culture, not the water culture, the Malena Huaca, or the Malena burial place. And then we started, the professor that is going to teach us the class went over some of the materials. Well, so the homework was to weave the loom. So the first take has been a total failure. So I just wanted to show you basically this I don't even know the technical name in English, but these threads here should be more similar to this. So these are better, these are very bad, these are too close together. So total failure, but that's okay. I'm gonna try again. So I just wanted to report here. Bye. Hi, my name is Ana Aguayo. Welcome back to my Flosstube channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about a class that I've been taking, that I took actually during the month of February. And this class, it was a virtual online class offered by the Anthropology and History Museum, Natural History Museum, from the University of San Marcos in Lima, Peru. They had been offering these workshops for over 2 years, but of course I was not able to attend because they were live classes given in Lima, Peru, offered in Lima, Peru. But now with the online classes, I saw their post on Instagram, and I immediately jumped to the opportunity to attend one of those classes. And in this opportunity, they were teaching how to do the tapiz ranurado or slit tapestry technique. And this is a textile technique that had been used in ancient Peru for thousands of years prior to the Inca Empire. So they were teaching us how to make these headbands that were found at Huaca Malena. Huaca Malena is a very important burial center in south of Lima. Lima is the capital of Peru. So they found this burial center, and many of the mummies were found wearing these very colorful and beautiful headbands that sometimes measure 2 to 3 meter or 2 to 3 yards long. So they were kind of thin but long headbands. It showed the importance or the relevance of the people buried in this Huaca. So for me, the experience was very, very nice. I had the opportunity to mingle and to interact with people from Peru and from other countries. Most of the students were from Peru, and they were in Lima and other areas of Peru, and there were some expats. There was one person from Brazil, one person in Canada, from Canada. I was the only one from the United States. So it was very nice to talk to get to know them. The class was a total of 7 sessions. The first one was an introduction where we had the opportunity to listen to the director of the museum and one of the archaeologists, where they explained how they had found these headbands and other details of Guacamalena. So they gave us some background information, some history behind. And then we had classes Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 1 to 5 p.m. And it was flexible, right? So if you couldn't make it on time at 1 p.m., you could join at 2 or at 3, and the same with the time leaving. So you were not really the 4 hours. You could if you wanted or if you had the time to participate, but we created a very nice community, and it was after we learned the basic of the techniques, we would sit and work together and had the opportunity to chat and to learn more about each other. So they were very interesting people that I had the opportunity to meet, and now we have a chat on WhatsApp where we help each other if we get stuck, if we have questions, if we have any further materials to share. It's been wonderful, really, to exchange ideas and to get to know these people a little bit more and to learn from each other. So in terms of the technique, at first, it was very challenging for me. It's my first time doing any type of weaving. The only thing that I had done in the past were these pot holders, where you basically use this square loom that is very easy really to use, but then I learned that it's the same basic technique where you have your warp, which are your vertical threads, and then you have your wefts, which are your horizontal threads, and it's a combination of how you mix these two, and that's how you weave, right? So I had some previous knowledge, but really very little. I had never worked with an actual loom, like a wooden loom made for weaving. So that on itself was challenging at first. I didn't know how to thread this loom, but all of that was covered as part of the class. And again, if you had any questions or if you would share what you had done, people, especially the professors, will help you out. They would even call you over the phone if it was hard to communicate via text. Sometimes a lot of gets lost in translation, so they would call you over the phone and try to explain and walk you through the steps of what you were doing. So I had a previous clip where I showed my first attempt, and it was a total failure because I didn't know how important tension was. So how you weave that first thread, which is going to be your warp, how you warp your loom is very important because you want a good tension. If not, you're not going to get a tapestry or a fabric that is uniform. So let me show you the first. These were supposed to be the original, the things that were found, the artifacts that were found were headbands, right? And again, they were long, like 2 or 3 yards long. But for this class, we did bracelets, right? So to make it small. So let me show you the first one that I made. And as you can see, it's not very uniform, right? You can see here in the borders how it's not straight. I didn't achieve a straight border, and that's because of my tension. Taking also into consideration that I was not able to find exactly the same materials that the class called for, right? So to start with, they gave us instructions on how to build our own wooden loom, right? So they gave us the size of the wood that we needed, how to put it together. So since I was not able to do that, I bought a loom, and I'll show you the loom later, at Michael's. So I had to adapt the the loom that I bought to the specifications that they were using during the class. Also, the threads, they were using a very thin type of cotton, mercerized cotton, but it was about half a millimeter, 0.5 millimeters thick. So it was a very thin material, and I used what I had, which is this mercerized cotton, but that is thicker. So as you can see, if I put this on my wrist, this could still be a bracelet, but a very thick bracelet. So it was supposed, again, I had to adapt. I wanted to adapt the materials that I had easily in hand to learn when learning this technique. So this was my first result, and again, this is the back. Yes, so you can see how you can see how some of the threads are there, because you end up with when you start with the collar, and then when you end with that collar, you have that end that you have to weave in. So I didn't know, when you're weaving, the side that you're looking at is the back. So you weave on the back, and then the other side, the opposite side, is the front. So everything was new to me, but it was very interesting. So when I was showing this to my professor, one of my teachers, she was telling me, do not get rid of this first bracelet, and she showed us her first bracelet that she made using this technique, and it was, still very messy. It wasn't that pretty. So she wanted to make sure that we're not disappointed, and then you can compare and contrast, right, where you started, and then once you practice, how you can improve and get better. So this is my first try. Again, the colors are not the call for, the material is not the call for material. This is, I'm showing you the back, this is the front, but still very proud of the results. So that this was my first attempt. But again, I was not happy with the borders. So one of the suggestions from the teacher was, okay, why don't you use something thicker? Because I was using a kind of thin cotton, mercerized cotton. She said, she also teaches primary or elementary kids. So for her kids, she uses wool or a thicker material, right? So she said, you know what, start there, and then you can work with thinner material. I said, okay, let me give that a try. So this is what resulted when I used this, and this is acrylic wool, right? So I think the borders this time are much better. I got a better consistency. Let me get it closer. Of course, it's smaller, because by having this thicker material, the end result was thicker, but at the end I could not, I was supposed to repeat this motif several times, and I can only make it once. So it's like these waves up in opposite direction, and I added this ¿cómo se llaman estos flecos, which now the word escapes me, but you know what I mean, here at the bottom. So this was my set. So this is again the front, and if I show you there, you can see actually with this acrylic wool, it was easier to hide the ends, because again, being a thicker material, it was easier to hide it. So these were my very first two products, and I'm very proud of them. And then I wanted to explore more. I wanted to continue to practice. So let me bring my loom. Okay, so let me show you. So this is the loom that I've been using, right? And this motif here in red, this kind of cross is called the chacana, which is an Incan, not Incan, because it's this cross existed before the Incas. At first, for many years, it was thought that this cross, because it had four ends, it represented the four, how the Inca Empire was divided in four. So they had related this cross to the Inca Empire. But then this same cross has been found in prior cultures prior to the Incas. So in this case, I wanted something thinner that could be more like a bracelet. So let me put it like that. So it could be a bracelet. It still is too long, so I think once I finish this, I'm gonna make it into maybe a book. ¿Cuál es la palabra? OMG, the words are escaping me today. But you know what I mean. So let me show you the back. And this is what I mean by all the ends, right? Because you don't want your threads to be too long, because then they get all tangled and they're difficult to handle. So I prefer to have to weave these ends than having this very long thread that is getting knotted and difficult to handle. So in this case, in terms of the warp, I have a total of 18 threads going down, and as you can see, turn it again. So I will work on this side, and then this is the side that you see. And then my latest, so I have to finish this. So my latest project again, and I'm still perfecting how to warp the loom, how to put this thread, the vertical threads, on the thread loom with good tension, and again in this case you can see the thread is a lot thinner. So I'm following my teacher's advice of starting bigger with a thicker thread or yarn, and then going smaller as you get more comfortable. And I like a lot better how the borders are getting. And can you see that this is not a solid fabric? That's why it's called a slit tapestry, because you don't get a fabric that is completely solid, but you get these holes, these slits in your fabric, and that's how the technique is called, slit tapestry. So very happy with the results. Again, trying to master how to get it smaller, thinner, with more threads, with good tension, and with borders that are uniform. So that's what I'm concentrating now, but overall has been an amazing experience. I look forward to participating in the next workshop. They're planning another workshop in April. It's gonna be similar, I guess, about 7 sessions. It's in Spanish. The classes are offered in Spanish, but they provide materials, a guide, a written guide or document, and then they provide videos. So if you get stuck, if there's an area that you don't know how to make, how to work on, they have supporting videos which are very, very helpful. Again, everything is in Spanish. However, I would say if you have some prior experience in weaving, this may be this would be easier for you than for someone that has no prior experience. So to close, I wanted to share that there will be another workshop in April. Again, it is offered in Spanish. However, if you have prior experience weaving, right? So for me, I started with 0 experience. So at the beginning, it was frustrated when I couldn't do what I was supposed to do, and people were already, finishing their first bracelet, and I was in 0. So it took me a little while to start, because I had 0 experience and I didn't know even how to put the warp on the loom. But if you have any prior experience and if you have an interest in really learning this technique, I think that you could. I think that you could, even if it's in Spanish, because again, the manual that they provide is very self-explanatory with lots of pictures. So they give you step-by-step instructions with pictures. So there's a step number 1 and a picture, step number 2 and the picture. So it's very graphic, very visual. And then you have the supporting videos. And then you have me. So I'm planning on register on the April class. I'm not 100% sure that I will do it, but that's my intention. So let me know if you want to be part of that. Maybe we can join together, and again, you can use me as your support, right? If you need someone to translate for you, if you have interest in learning these ancient techniques from Peru, let me know, and maybe we could join together, and again, I could be your translator. If not, I understand. I don't know if I would join a class maybe that is in a language that I don't speak, right? I don't speak Italian or French, so I'll be intimidated probably. But I don't know, just something that I wanted to mention. And also, it would be my dream come true for me to be able to teach these classes as well in the future. So let me know if you would be interested in learning this from me. And we could start, little by little, even if you have zero experience, because that's where I am. So now I have a little bit more of experience, but it's still really basic. But I would love to be part of sharing this knowledge and propagating these ancient textile techniques with others, so that they don't get lost, right? And we can all enjoy them and appreciate them and continue to do them, right? So let me know. That's all from today. Today at 6 p.m. We have like an event where we're all gonna participate. We're gonna show our results, our end products, our bracelets, and 3 students are gonna share their experiences. And I'm gonna be one of the 3 students that are gonna participate. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, giving back to the community and really making sure that they continue to do these virtual classes, because otherwise I would not have been able to participate. So I think it's amazing that the museum is doing these outreach classes and doing it in a virtual way. Okay, so well, I hope you're having a wonderful day, the most wonderful day that you can have. I know these are very difficult times. We live in constant turmoil, a lot of uncertainty and horrible things happening in the world. However, I believe it's our duty, if we can, because we cannot always do it, right? But if we can, to try to find joy in the little things, because life is made out of these little things. And if we have these little blessings around us, and I'm calling it blessing, but you can call it whatever makes you happy. We owe it to ourselves and to the people around us to be grateful, to look for those chances, for those opportunities, to be back, to be happy, to give back, to help each other as much as possible. So thank you for being here and to listening and to sharing your comments and your feedback is really appreciated.